The longest ever Spitfire raid. The longest ever Spitfire raid is considered to be the World War II attack on a Japanese radar station in East Timor by aircraft from Darwin, Australia, top left-hand side. The eastern part of the island of Timor in World War II was Portuguese Timor. It is now the independent country of Timor-Leste. The western part of the island was Dutch Timor. It is now part of Indonesia. Now come see how the longest ever Spitfire raid took place. On the 19th of February, 1942, the same Japanese aircraft carrier force that attacked Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, USA, 2 months earlier, then attacked Darwin, Northern Territory, Australia. Almost another 100 air raids on Australia took place over following months. Also, Japanese submarines attacked merchant vessels off the coast of eastern Australia. By mid-1942, the Japanese Empire reached its peak expansion. In the southeast, it reached as far as the Island of Timor, shown in red on the map just above the red line above the letter A in Australia. East Timor was the last part of the Island of Timor to succumb to the Japanese, in late 1942, early 1943. During 1942-43, it was thought by the Allies that the last link in the Japanese radar chain was being established near Cape Law at the eastern end of Timor, in the red square on the map. But numerous Allied flights over the area failed to find anything. At the same time, during 1942-43, there was a very rapid build-up of a large number of fighter and bomber airstrips around Darwin, and along the main road south of Darwin, for American, British, and Australian aircraft. These airfields became vital for the defence of Northern Australia, and for fighting back the Japanese in the south and southeast of their expanded empire. One day in 1944, as American B-25 Mitchells were returning to their station at Darwin after a raid, one of the crewmen was testing a camera as they flew over Cape Law on the southeast coast of Timor. When the film was later developed, someone noticed, completely by accident, little radar aerials sticking up out of the bush. The location was reported back at Darwin, and a couple of spotter aircraft were sent to find the aerials, but they were unsuccessful, so it was decided to send RAF Spitfire fighters and American B-25 Mitchell bombers to the target. In preparing for the raid at Darwin, the Spitfires were equipped with standard tanks, plus 2 wing tanks, and 2 belly tanks, not shown here. The belly tanks would be dropped before the Spitfires made their attack. On other occasions, the wing tanks were removed, and in their place 2 30-gallon barrels of beer were attached. Fitter armourers were also asked if they could fit 2 bomb carriers to Spitfires. One was so modified and tested successfully, but it was then realised that with the extra weight of the bombs, even using belly tanks there would be insufficient fuel for the long distance over water, so the idea of the Spitfires carrying bombs was shelved. The raid was set for the 27th of November, 1944. The USAAF RAF force was 4 B-25s, 14 Spitfires, and a consolidated PBY Catalina air-sea rescue flying boat. The Spitfires were to escort and protect the bombers, and mark the target for the bombers. The Catalina was to pick up any downed airmen. The Spitfires departed YPDN Darwin and refueled at YSNK Snake Bay. Departing Darwin. The Spitfires first flew from Darwin to the Austin Strip at Snake Bay, Melville Island, where they refueled for the long flight. 14 Spitfires, only 7 were able to take off from Snake Bay, the others suffering various fuel line problems. Using every inch of the runway, they staggered into the air to rendezvous with the Mitchells and the Catalina, and then head for Timor Island. The Spitfires made a low pass over Timor Island from Cape Law and were welcomed by bursts of light machine gun fire. The Spitfires beat the area up with cannon and machine gun fire and started a bit of smoke going. The Spitfires pulled out and let the B-25s come in and do their stuff. The bombers scored direct hits and flattened the radar station, including the associated Japanese camp. Returning to Darwin. There was no interception and there were no casualties, all aircraft returning safely to base. The entire raid was more than 850 miles and took 4 hours and 50 minutes. It was the longest Spitfire raid ever flown. There have been longer Spitfire flights, but these have not been actual raids as with Timor. One example is the World War II Spitfire photo reconnaissance flights. For more on this, see my video, top left, about the man who initiated those flights. Another example is the World War II Spitfire flights to Malta from aircraft carriers that could not approach any closer to Malta without being threatened by enemy aircraft. For more on this, see my video, bottom left, about Malta. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked. Now to finish off, enjoy this real-life footage of another more recent long Spitfire flight, but again, not a raid. The Silver Spitfire's longest flight was a round-the-world expedition in 2019, covering 26 countries and approximately 46,000 kilometers, or 22,130 nautical miles, over roughly 4 months. The flight, which began and ended at Goodwood Aerodrome in the UK on the 5th of August, 2019, and the 5th of December, 2019, respectively, was the first ever circumnavigation of the globe in a World War II-era Supermarine Spitfire. The Silver Spitfire, registered GIRTY, is available in Microsoft Flight Simulator.
British pilot Matt Jones and his team are trying to set a new world record. They hope to fly the World War II fighter plane around the world in 4 months.
Our mission is to fly that aeroplane around the world.
I don't think anybody's done this before, man.
Nothing in such a cool aircraft.
2 greatest symbols of freedom in the world.
There is a
We're there and I'm in here.
people who flew it, the people. It became this emblem that stood for something incredible. We want to pass them on to the next generation. We want to carry on telling the story that this aeroplane started telling in the 1940s.